Hey everybody, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. I'm JR. Today I'm working on tidying up this wiring, finishing up the harness, making it work the correct way like factory. I'll show you guys what I got here and what's left to do. So what I have on a C10, if you have a C10, this will help you out. This side of the factory block is for the rear lights. This little part that I don't have plugged in is for the front lights, which is hanging out right here. So that'll go in like that. Whatever. There we go. So that goes like that, right? And that entire part of the harness, you don't need to mess with for an LS swap. That left side of the harness is for the engine. And that's the part that you mess with. This is like power out to the starter. This is where your power goes in from your factory junction block. That kind of stuff. So I'll get into that a little bit later. And it's pretty similar for all Chevrolets. All General Motors products. I'm actually going to cut away and I'll go off and look at my wife's Olds 98, but I bet it's pretty similar. So, but first, let's talk about how I'm doing what I'm doing here. This is a mount for a like 99 to 03 S10. It's black, it's plastic, it's black. It clips a P59 or 411 PCM right in. So it even comes with the screws. It was like $22 at the local dealer. And I just have that mounted right to the firewall. Then I need my tack module because I have a drive-by-wire. So I mounted that to the wheel well. I said firewall a minute ago. I'm at inner wheel well. I mounted that directly to the inner wheel well as well. Over here I have my fuse block just mounted to the inside of my fender. Underneath the fuse block is the relay. Sorry about that. This is the relay. This is going to go to power the fuel pump when the PCM powers on. And then these wires here going into the cab, those are all for cab functions. Things like my check engine light, torque converter clutch, which will go to the brake switch, speedometer, which is this, tack. All that stuff heads into the cab. These are for my cruise control, which is the whole reason that I went drive-by-wire in the first place. I don't have a cruise control stock, so I'll just tape these ends up and leave them hanging out here for now, which realistically means forever, probably. And then I have one more wire out of the harness, which goes up here to this relay. I got my light harness in the way. Goes up here to this relay to power a fan. And I'm just going to run a single fan on my gacked up stock radiator. It wasn't leaking before, it shouldn't leak now, should be fine. If it's not, I'll deal with it then. But that's it, that's the basic hookups. Then going into the harness, we have 12 volt switched and 12 volt constant. I believe the purple wire is switched and the pink wire is constant. Yep. So this will go to my, sorry, there we go. This will go to my firewall plug. This will go up to my junction block, which is going to be 12 volts all the time. And then it'll be 12 volts to the cab all the time. And then when I hit the key, it should provide the starter with 12 volts. Which is going to be, I'm going to do a separate video entirely on this. I'm trimming this down to what you need and eliminating what you don't, because it's kind of overwhelming and I don't really want to deal with it in this video right now. I am going to cut away and I'll run up and look at my wife's car real quick and just verify that it's the same. I'm willing to bet that all GMs are pretty much the same. On this plug, all these wires coming out of this corner, these are all for the wiper assembly and the squirter, the pump for the squirter. So you don't even need to mess with those. It's just these little handful of wires here. There's like 10 of them. That's all you really have to mess with. So it's easier than you think. I am making good progress. I do have my tank here ready to go in. So I'll be right back and I'll show you what it looks like on the 98. But I know that this is the part of the swap where people get all overwhelmed. And if you just go one thing at a time, and especially like I'm using a harness from Jason Richard, and he has everything labeled for me, which makes it, you know, like I'm pretty good, but with everything labeled, you got to be pretty stupid to screw it up. So we're getting there bit by bit. I'll be right back to show you guys what the 98 looks like, but I'm willing to bet that it's really, really similar. So let's look. This is my wife's 98, and it would appear to be nothing like that. It shows what I know. Oh, nope. I'll try to get you down in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm sorry for waving the camera around. But yeah, it's just like that. Underneath this washer bottle is the back side of her fuse panel. Yep. So yeah, that's all it is a matter of, look how nice the seat is in this thing. It's a nice car. That's really all it is a matter of figuring out, you know, which wires on your block go out to functions like your lights and your wipers and that kind of thing, and which ones were for the engine, for the coil. Really, that's all cars this old had, was coil points, whatever. It's easier than people think. People love to make stuff complicated, more complicated than it needs to be. I don't know why, but so yeah, it's easier than people think. I'm covered in paint, obviously. Stuff happens, whatever. You only need a handful of wires to get an LS swap going. I'll bring you guys back for a second video to show you exactly what they are. Just kind of, right now I'm just tidying up and that kind of thing. So this will be a two-part video, like the final wiring in the truck. And hopefully this helps you guys out, helps you learn something. So we'll see you next time.